My grandmother told me the story while the bullock cart plodded on the road to her village nestled in the leafy terrain of Simultala, a small township that had sprung up during the British Raj amid the forests and became a ghost town later. The bells in the necks of the bullocks provided the accompanying music to Granny's sing-song narration. Those days, mothers had to sing lullaby songs for sleepy kids. And if mothers weren't around, grandmothers had to fill in and tell stories. In the days of the snail mail in the first decade of the 20th century, letters traveled slowly but could reach far-flung areas. The villages in the Jharkhand region were tucked amid the hillocks and were still wrapped in greenery. In wintry fog, traveling in a bullock cart to a village in Simultala seemed like entering an enchanted land, especially with my grandmother's fairy tale style of narration. Every morning, Bajrangi, the postman of Simultala, will collect the mail from the train that stopped at the town's spooky station, mount his rickety bicycle and set off on his duty, riding on bumpy, unpaved dirt roads to distribute letters, telegrams and money orders. His khaki post bag was filled with letters from cities like Patna, Ranchi and Calcutta as well as from villages afar, letters from men working far away, notices from government, and sometimes a postcard carrying nothing more than a marriage invitation written with red ink. Printed marriage cards were decades away. Although the villages in the region were scattered among the hillocks, Bajrangi knew every path, every bend and every little rivulet that flew only during the rains. But a thirsty person could still find water to drink, simply by digging into the sand with bare hands. A postman in the pre-internet era was like a divine messenger to the villagers. He was their only link to the world beyond the forest-wrapped hillocks. Bajrangi was rather stylish for a postman. His khaki uniform had 4 pockets, and he always carried a comb and a pocket mirror in one of them. Even among villagers who were seldom fully dressed, let alone well-dressed, he believed a government servant can command respect only if he looks decent. One greyish winter afternoon, as Bajrangi was pedaling his unsteady bicycle through a lonely stretch on a dirt road amidst the semel trees, Bombag Seba, a huge striped creature stepped onto the road on its 4 feet. A Royal Bengal Tiger had blocked the way of our postman, who somehow wobbled his bicycle to a stop now. The tiger, with its shiny yellow skin and black stripes, had found something curious in a man whose khaki dress, too, was yellowish. For a few seconds, neither made a move. Then the tiger gave a terrifying roar that could be heard in far-off villages. It was the tiger's way of asserting his claim to the territory that Bajrangi had unwittingly trespassed into, or so the tiger thought. But Bajrangi did not run away in fear. He had learned during training that a government servant is not to lose his calm when faced with a dangerous situation. He coolly got off his bicycle and put his bag on the ground. Then, like a movie star, he straightened his cap and said, "Don't mess with me, my friend. I am a government servant. Interfering with government work is a crime punishable with either jail or death." The tiger was not to be browbeaten so easily. But Bajrangi, too, still had his wits around, and he remained perfectly calm. "You may think you are the king of this jungle, but you are not above the law," he further said. "And I have government orders," he added to sound stern. The tiger took a step towards him. Bajrangi maintained the pitch of his voice dramatically to sound bossy before the brute who could maul him down with one of his paws. "In fact, I have been ordered to catch trouble-mongers of the area. Are you among those tigers troubling people in this area? You better know that this is my jurisdiction." Hum. The tiger stopped in its stride towards the postman. Bajrangi tapped the largest pocket of his shirt. "And fortunately, I have already caught a Maneater who I had to dwarf to fit into my pocket. You want to see the power I have been granted by the government?" The tiger looked suspiciously at the postman. It roared again. "Want to see?" asked Bajrangi playfully. The tiger now stared at him meekly, having been bullied into believing this cheeky postman. Slowly but steadily, Bajrangi reached into his pocket, not for a handgun, but for his little mirror. He held his pocket mirror towards the tiger. The tiger looked into the mirror, and there was the trick tiger spit image, though small, staring back at the tiger. The tiger stepped back in fear. "And here is the government order," said Bajrangi, taking a piece of stamped paper from another pocket. The tiger had no idea what a mirror was, Nor was it literate enough to read a government order. As far as it could imagine, Bajrangi had indeed trapped and dwarfed a tiger inside his pocket. The tiger gave one last nervous growl, turned around and disappeared into the forest, not to be seen for months on end if the village folks are to be believed. Bajrangi lit a beedi and waited until the sound of the tiger's footsteps had faded away. Then he coolly put the pocket mirror back into his pocket, hopped onto his bicycle and went on his way to do his duty. When he reached the next village, the villagers noticed that he seemed remarkably happy that day. "What happened? Bajrangi bhai, you seem very joyful today," they asked. "Nothing much," he said. "A tiger dared to mess with a government servant." The villagers caught their breath as they looked at the postman. "What did you do?" Bajrangi said with a smile. "I showed the tiger the power of a government servant." And then, the tiger ran away with its tail between its legs after seeing the government order. From that day onwards, whenever anyone asked Bajrangi whether he feared the wild animals or dacoits amid the hills, he would simply tap his chest and say, "Why should I be afraid when I am on government duty?" And the village folks never found out that the postman's most powerful weapon was not a government order but his imagination to weave a tale that could hold a tiger by its tail.